Good evening and welcome to the Whisky Lovers Society with me, Gert Retief, and of course, not at my home. I'm spending a nice couple of days here in sunny Vienna in Austria. Quite excited. Lovely day, sun shining, hundreds and thousands of people out in the street. I will also put some of the photos for the people that like to see some different things. So I had a nice afternoon in the city center of Vienna. Went to Stephenplatz with a nice cathedral and things like that. All these lovely shops, cafes, found a fantastic place to have a little bit of a late lunch. So quite excited, nice day. And of course I need to round off the day with a little bit of a whiskey. I came prepared and I brought my own sample. And a nice generous sample. What it is, of course, you see in the description. And I'm talking about the Glenallachie 10-year-old Cask Strength Batch number 1. So I was quite excited to find this on my online store still available. Paid a little bit of a premium for the sample. So I think it was about €7.50. But funny enough, well, the bottles are sold out. They only have some samples left. And they were selling the bottles at €59.90. I'm sure you are going to battle to find a Glenallachie Batch 1 for that price today. It is, of course, Cask Strength, bottled at 57.1% ABV. Quite looking forward to it. I had some other Glenallachie Cask Strengths. The Batch 6 for me was quite a nice one. I liked it so much that I actually went and buy a couple of the bottles just to keep for the future. Color-wise, I was a little bit surprised. It seems that Glenallachie is progressing into the darker colors. If you look at this one, it's quite very light. Sorry about the lighting. I'm in my hotel room, so I have only a couple of lights that you can put on. But anyway, so quite a light one. Of course, it is a Speyside whiskey from the Glenallachie distillery, a single malt, and it is matured in sherry cask. Now, if you look at the color, maybe you can't see so much, but it is not very dark color compared to the later ones, the Batch 3, the Batch 5, and the Batch 6. For me, were much darker. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring a Batch 6 sample as well to do a little bit of a comparison in the end. So, funny glass, of course, hotel glasses. Well, at least this time it's a glass and not a plastic cup from the hotel. So I'm quite interested to see what the nosing and tasting is going to bring. And maybe for the future, I will also do a quick review head-to-head from the Batch 1 versus the Batch 6 that I have. So on the nose, cheers. Although it is not very dark, I do immediately get that sherry cask influence. And of course, I get the alcohol. Quite strong on the nose. So I get that lovely sweetness coming out. I get that sharp alcohol hit on the nose. I get that raisins coming out. Definitely not a sherry monster at all. More faint than anything else. I get a little bit of a vanilla note. There is a sweetness to it, but it's definitely not as sweet as the Batch 6 that I had. A little bit of a caramel coming out. And that is about that. I must say I'm a little bit disappointed. I think the later editions, the Batch 3, the 5, the 6, for me was giving a little bit more when I get on the Batch 1. but it's still a nice one. So without water on the taste, cheers. Now, it's quite interesting. That alcohol definitely, it just basically evaporates. It's like hot, put it in your mouth and it just gone. And it leaves you with this lovely sweetness, a hint of the raisins coming out, a little bit of a fig coming out, a little bit of a peach note coming out for me. Let me just try again. This is nice. There's just definitely that spicy heat that you get, and that alcohol heat that shows you that there's definitely a high ABV whiskey. Then it goes into that sweetness, and it leaves you with a little bit of an oak at the end. Quite an interesting one. I think it's a good idea just to add a little bit of water to this one. Just to see what it does, because at 57.1% ABV, it is quite a high cask strength. And of course, it can change quite dramatically when you add a little bit of water. I'm just going to give it one more try, just to see what I can get. That is just very drinkable. A little bit of a nutty note coming out. A little bit of a citrus note coming out, but definitely not the sweetness. For the sweetness is quite toned down. So I think this one is for somebody that are not really into that big sherry monsters, that sweet sherry monsters. This one is very much toned down for me. So I added a little bit of water to it, not much, maybe half a teaspoon of water, just to give it a little bit of a time to open up. Let's see what it is. With some water on the nose. That is nice. That alcohol is no longer there. I get lovely, sweet, fresh vanilla pods. Oh, that is nice. It is just a very mellow. It's now for me. I would guess that if you give this sample to me to do in a blind tasting with a water added, I will not pick up that it is a sherry cask finish. It feels a little bit more than just like a nice ex-bourbon cask. That sweetness coming out, that vanilla notes coming out. I get some apple notes coming out, or maybe something also like an Asian pear note. There's a hint of a citrus also now on it. That is absolutely lovely. I must admit, I'm glad I added a little bit of water. For me, that made it so much better. With the water added. Of course, the Scottish mist is appearing. Non-chill filtered, natural color. Absolutely, very perfumey now as well. I do like it. Taste with water, cheers. This is nice. Absolutely fantastic. That little bit of water made a huge difference for me. The sweetness coming out, a little bit of a honey note coming out. Still a hint of a oakiness in it, but absolutely very minimal. I'm not a person that loves the oak. So for me, very subdued and just playing nice with the sweetness of the vanilla. Let me just give it one more try. A hint of a English toffee appearing, and even a touch of a ripe banana for me. Very strange. I didn't think I would pick that up, but a really nice, well balanced whiskey. Now I have to go into the memory bank. I'm not sure if I would pick this one above the batch 6. I do like the sherry monsters. I like the sherry influences. I like that big alcohol hit with the sweetness when you add a little bit of water. So in the end, if I have to do a comparison between the batch 1 and the batch 6, I would think I will end up every time going for the batch 6, but that is just because I love the sherry monsters. This one, actually, for me, if you are not into that heavy sweetness, that dark sweetness, the dark fruits, the raisins, that big sherry cask influence, I think this one is perfect. The nose is now just lovely and perfumey. Really like this one. Cheers. This is dangerous. This is something that I'd love to sip in the evenings. I'm looking over the river here. Absolutely fantastic day. Sun was shining. So for me, this is a perfect end to a perfect day. So thank you very much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment, and I see you next time. Cheers.